Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday AI Made Simple. Grab your drink of choice and let's dive into what's going on in AI news. And you better buckle up, because today we are going on a whirlwind tour of some absolutely mind-blowing AI breakthroughs. We're talking about everything from AI designing brand new viruses to fight superbugs, to the humanoid robots learning to walk among us, and of course, the massive power moves from pretty much every tech giant you can name. Okay, let's get right into it. And we are starting with what has to be the wildest story of the week. Scientists are now using AI to literally design entirely new viral genomes from scratch. I want to be clear, we're not talking about just tweaking a few things here and there on existing viruses. Nope. These are completely new blueprints for life, dreamed up from end to end by AI with one mission: to hunt down and destroy antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So, to make sense of this tidal wave of innovation, we've broken it all down into 5 key parts. First, we'll see how AI is rewriting the rules of science itself. Then we'll jump into the physical world with the humanoid robot race, cover the corporate arms race, check out the new tools you can actually use, and finally, look at the new economy that's taking shape around it all. So let's kick it off with part 1, AI rewrites science. We're starting here because this is where AI is pushing into the most fundamental and, frankly, just mind-bending territory. So how did they do it? Well, the process started by feeding a transformer model. The same kind of AI that powers chatbots. A dataset of over 50,000 viral genomes. But instead of learning English or Python, it learned the language of DNA. The AI then generated totally novel genomes that scientists could then synthesize in the lab and test against drug-resistant E. coli. And the results? They were absolutely stunning. The best of these AI-designed viruses had a 99.9% kill rate against these superbugs. Now, of course, you've got to add some caveats. This research is still waiting for peer review, and you bet it raises some serious biosecurity questions that people are already talking about. But the potential here, it's just revolutionary. And that same kind of leap is happening in physics. Microsoft just showed off its new Lion quantum chip by having it solve a complex logistics problem in just 30 seconds, a task that took a top-of-the-line classical computer 45 minutes. That is a gigantic step toward what they call quantum advantage on real-world problems. All right, on to part 2. We're moving from the microscopic and the quantum into our physical world, where the race to build a true general-purpose humanoid robot is officially on. And the 2 biggest names in the game are taking completely different approaches. You could call it the body versus the brain. Tesla is all in on the body. They're focused on mastering the hardware and figuring out how to mass-produce millions of these robots. OpenAI, on the other hand, is focused on the brain. They're hiring the best researchers to build that universal AI software that could, in theory, control any robot. 2 very different bets. Okay, now for part 3, the big tech AI arms race. Things are moving so incredibly fast here, so we're just going to do a rapid-fire rundown of the key moves from the giants who are shaping this whole new ecosystem. First step, Google. They've basically flipped the switch on what they're calling AI mode in search in 180 countries. This is huge. It means for many of your searches, you're not getting that classic list of 10 blue links anymore. You're getting a dynamic AI-generated summary right at the top. Meanwhile, Samsung is making a massive play in hardware. Their new Exynos AI chips are specifically designed to run powerful generative AI features right on your phone, completely offline. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means way faster responses and much, much better privacy, because your data never even has to leave your device. Amazon is looking squarely at the enterprise world with something called Quick Suite. Think of it as a no-code, drag-and-drop playground for businesses to build their own AI agents. They can automate tasks like pulling sales data and creating reports, all without having to write a single line of code. And then there was the move that caught a lot of people by surprise. OpenAI acquired an analytics platform called StatSig. This is a really big deal because it's going to be the backbone of their new Metrics AI initiative. Basically, it will let developers who are building on top of GPT to scientifically A/B test their prompts and see what actually works best. And just to understand how serious OpenAI is about this, just look at that price tag, $1.1 billion. This tells you that the future of building with AI isn't just about coming up with clever prompts. It's about rigorous, data-driven, scientific experimentation. Okay, let's shift to part 4 and see how all this trickles down into tools you can actually get your hands on. Because all of these high-level advances are becoming more and more accessible for developers, creators, and small businesses. And at the heart of all of this is a concept called agentic AI. This is a fundamental shift. We are moving away from passive assistants that just answer your questions to active agents that can autonomously go and do things for you across multiple steps. Like, say, monitoring your online orders, flagging a shipping problem, and then drafting an email about it all on its own. And to build these agents, a whole new developer toolkit is popping up. It's making AI development way faster with code editors like Cursor, which can write tests for you. It's making it simpler with visual builders like Windsurf, and it's making it way more accessible with pay-as-you-go GPU rentals from services like RunPod, so you don't need a massive budget. And get this, it's not always about having the biggest, most massive model. One of the coolest breakthroughs is actually coming from tiny models. Researchers built something called Tree GPT with just 1.5 million parameters. Compare that to a typical large model with 70 billion, and yet it achieves almost the same accuracy and is small enough to run on a tiny little Raspberry Pi. All right, finally, let's get to part 5, the ripple effect. Let's zoom all the way out and look at how all this tech is really starting to reshape our jobs, our economy, and the actual rules of the game. Here's a trend that might surprise you. AI job growth is not just a Silicon Valley story anymore. Not by a long shot. Over the last year, Huntsville, Alabama saw a 42% surge in AI job postings. Milwaukee saw a 38% jump. Compare that to just 12% in San Francisco. A lower cost of living and new local investments are creating these vibrant new AI hubs all across the country. This incredible growth is fueling an absolute all-out war for talent. I mean, this quote really says it all. You have tech giants offering these unbelievable compensation packages, salaries topping $1 million plus equity, just to poach the top researchers from their rivals. The competition for people who know how to build this stuff is fierce. And as the technology explodes, you can bet regulators are scrambling to keep up. In the US, NIST has put out some draft guidelines for trustworthy AI. But the really big one to watch is the EU AI Act. It's expected to pass soon, and it has real teeth, with potential fines up to 7% of a company's global revenue if they don't comply. The rules of the road are literally being written as we speak. And the technology itself is maturing in some important ways. We're seeing new techniques like machine unlearning, which is a huge win for privacy because it lets user data be truly erased from a model. And at the same time, the green AI movement is gaining steam, pushing to make all these systems more energy efficient and sustainable. So, from rewriting biology to completely reshaping our economy, it's clear AI is no longer some technology of the future. It is actively, right now, building the world we live in today. So I guess the only question left is, are you ready to build with it? Thanks for sticking with me through this whirlwind tour. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on Everyday AI Made Simple.